Good afternoon, everybody. Hope you guys are doing well today. It is time for Pass Rush Friday. And obviously, the Seahawks defense has been playing really well lately. They got a lot of sacks on Kyler Murray on Sunday. So the assumption would be you do your Pass Rush Friday stuff, you take a look at how many pressures your team got. You'd assume the results would be really good, right? Because Arizona's offense scored 14 points, 7 of them were pseudo garbage time. Well, okay, that's not totally fair, but it was end of the game, down by multiple scores, hurry up. The kind of drives that happen in a football game where it's not garbage time, but you're going to see more movement on those drives because we're trying to just not give up anything big. So you get here, you take a look at the pressures, and the results may surprise you. It was not the swarming pass rush effort that I was necessarily expecting. I will say I am using PFR's numbers. PFR is notoriously strict when it comes to their QB pressure stats. I may actually review some of this stuff and see if I have any strong disagreements with their evaluation. But they were not overly kind to our pass rushers this last week. So let's take a look here. Defensive line, 1 total pressure. Shelby Harris had 1. It resulted in a sack, by the way. Shelby Harris got a sack, so that's good. But you take a look at everybody else. They didn't give anything to anybody. Q Jeff, Puna, Al Woods. Monet barely played, and Adams didn't play, so of course. Collier, he had a weird play where he kind of fell on Kyler and got the sack, but he didn't get credited with a sack. It was a team sack. So he doesn't really get credited with the pressure because he didn't really get pressure. It was just kind of Johnny on the spot. So admittedly, he did make a positive impact on that play, but we're not really talking about pressure in the purest sense, right? And while there may be a pressure or two that they simply just decided to be stingy on, this is a little disappointing because that interior offensive line of the Cardinals is a mess. This is that was a great opportunity for the defensive line to eat. And I mean, they had reasonable success against the run, I guess, but not a lot of pressure. So it's one of those interesting things where the unit is working brilliantly, right? The defense played really well against the Cardinals, but you look at this and you kind of go, what the heck happened? And the thing that really kind of confuses me is that Brian Monet had 4 pressures last time we played the Cardinals, probably the best game of his career. And then he doesn't play a couple weeks later against the same team, playing their backup center still, by the way, so I don't get it. The guy who carried the day for us, the saving grace for our pass rush, was Uchenna Nwosu, as he so often is. And with Darrell Taylor out, obviously, he had to carry a big load. And he certainly did. He had 3 pressures in the game, including 2 sacks. He almost had a 3rd sack. I think that was the other pressure. And Taylor being out does kind of go a long way in explaining why we didn't get a lot of pressure in this game. But Nwosu was at least there to pick up the slack. He had a monster day. Great game by him. And he's in line to get paid this offseason. He's one of the few guys that I have here on this entire chart who is going to crush his preseason expectations, I think. I said 25 pressures, he's at 15, and that's using PFR's numbers. By Next Gen Stats, Amazon, he's already at like 40, which I don't agree with, but that's how they keep track of things. So, Nwosu's eating. Mafe had a pressure. Always good to see him start to come along as a pass rusher because that's the last part of his development as a player, to become a really great player that I expected him to be when we drafted him, before we drafted him even. He's already good against the run, so he picks up a QB pressure, good for him. Bruce Irvin had 1 as well, and it resulted in a sack, so welcome back, Bruce. Everybody's already kind of been making a big deal about how cool it is to have Bruce back in the fold, somebody who actually won a Super Bowl with this team a decade ago, and he's playing well. He's got 4 pressures in 3 games now, so good for him. I don't know if this is something that sustains beyond this season, but physically he looks like he can play football for a little while longer. So pretty good there. Onu Giogu, who did play seemingly fairly well, did not get any pressures, apparently, according to PFR anyway. so he's not on the list yet. But the edge rusher group pretty much did their job. They got 5 pressures, which, by the way, if you look at it, 5 pressures from the edge group a game for the last 4 weeks on the dot. It's been different guys too. Like 1 week it's Taylor, then it's both him and Nwosu, then it's just Nwosu. Urban chips in. We still don't have Alton Robinson yet, by the way. So something to keep in mind as we go forward here. Alton Robinson may very well come in and make his presence known before the end of the year. I imagine he will take some snaps from Onugiogu at the least. I know Onugiogu played well, but I don't think he's played so well that he's just going to take all of Robinson's snaps. So I'm hoping Alton gets back soon. I really liked what I saw from him his rookie year. Last year, not a whole lot going on. Maybe things will be a little bit better this year. The defense has changed. I know he's changed his body type, so maybe there will be good results. Okay, going to linebacker, nothing. Brooks, no pressures. Barton, no pressures. They didn't play badly. I want to say that, too. I think both guys actually played fine. Brooks played... Oh, my bad. Brooks played well. Barton played fine for the snaps he was in there. But no pressures. Cornerback, nothing. Not a whole lot of cornerback blitzing going on in this game in general, I don't think, which is probably the right thing to do. I mean, again, when the results are this good, when you're holding Arizona down to, like, what was it, 300 yards and 14 points, with 7 of those points coming at the end of the game, you did something right. So there's certainly nothing to be critical of. But just looking at the pressure numbers, you have to wonder, where did the pressures go? Nothing for the cornerbacks and nothing for the safeties. Diggs and Josh Jones, no pressures. I don't think they blitzed. So you add it all up and you get to 6, which is more in line with the numbers we were having the first month of the year after the Broncos game. Kind of an interesting oddity, right? Like, you got sacks in this game. We actually got credited with 5 sacks. One of them was a team sack. And yet we only got credited with 6 pressures. So some of it is going to be PFR just being difficult to please. Like, PFR is, they grade you tough on these things. Compared to somebody like Amazon, Amazon may have given us 20 pressures in this game. I don't know. I'd have to look. But, yeah, it's definitely something to take note of. I think it's a keen reminder that Darrell Taylor is missed, and I'm happy to have him back. He is somebody who is a flawed player for sure, but he's good for some pressure. He's good for a couple pressures a game. He's going to have big games in that regard as well. You put him on the field in these third down passing situations, especially against a team like the Cardinals that are going to want to be a pass-first team most of the time. You're going to get some results. So I'm happy he's back, and I'm hoping that what he does this weekend against Tampa Bay proves his value as a pass rusher. And that's really all there is to say about this week. Not a very high total, but I can say we were efficient. I mean, 6 pressures, 5 sacks. You did something right, I guess, right? Something had to go right. And hopefully we can just build on it. All right, I'll see you guys later today. Go Hawks. Going to do a Oregon preview later on, and I hope to see y'all there. I'm going to jump on Twitch shortly. Actually, by the time you guys are watching this video, I should already be live on Twitch, so I hope to see you there. Go Hawks.